How did he never do an ad for McDonald's? That is insane.
Michael McDonald?
Yes.
Hold the pickle.
He goes, ba 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 ba. I'm loving it. What's up, everybody? Jonathan Kite here, and welcome to the first episode of Kite Club, the podcast. So happy. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a very, very exciting thing. I can't wait. As always, with me is producer Paul Corey and my man in the booth on the keys, Mr. Ryan Neeson.
What's going on?
Anyway, let's just jump into it. So you'll see how this works. We're going to start every episode by pretty much just doing a weekly roundup of what's going on. You'll get the gist. You've heard of podcasts before. And if you haven't, then welcome back to Earth from your coma. First off, the Super Bowl happened last night, right? So did you do anything for Super Bowl, Ryan?
I was driving home from up north, so I didn't watch any of the Super Bowl.
So Rihanna announced that she was pregnant in the Super Bowl by kind of dressing like a vagina. She had a full red outfit, and she had a half zip below her stomach, and it sort of like her pregnant belly like protruded out a little bit. And it was really cool. She was amazing. The funniest thing about it was, though, all the backup dancers were around her, and they were in like these white jumpsuits, right? They all sort of looked like they were like the government officials going after E.T., but it just looked like when she was red in the middle and a bunch that were dancing around her, it just looked like semen trying to get into a vagina. It felt like all of the sperm trying to impregnate Rihanna. So I guess the real winner of the Super Bowl was Rihanna. It was pretty cool. She sang the bangers. She sang the hits. We also have to talk about, with the Super Bowl, Rihanna, about Trump's reaction to Rihanna, you know? This dude is so thirsty. He's like, nobody cares what Trump's opinion of Rihanna was, and I pulled this up. So he wrote, by the way, we said Rihanna's a crusher. Fucking so many hits. Trump wrote, epic fail. Rihanna gave, without question, the single worst halftime show in Super Bowl history. The single worst halftime show was his opinion, okay? This after insulting far more than half of our nation, which is already in serious decline, with her foul and insulting language. Trump wrote it on Truth Social, which is probably why none of you saw it, even though we are currently streaming on Truth Social. So shout out to Trump. Thank you for having us. And he goes, also, so much for her stylist. Andre Leon Talley, and if I got his name pronunciation wrong, I apologize. He was a fashion icon and a legend, and she was paying tribute. If you don't know him, just Google him. He passed away, and he used to wear these incredible big flowing outfits. She was paying homage to him. I love how Trump doesn't think that somebody who is a marketing genius like Rihanna, who was announcing that she was pregnant during the most eyeballs in the world, that somebody like that wasn't also doing that with her style. The fact that he was just like, look at this person. She looks like a soaked tampon. Okay, I don't know why. Is it her time of the month? What's going on here? Which wouldn't be possible, Trump, because she's pregnant. She doesn't get periods. You don't know how women's bodies work. What about the ads? The ads were crazy. The number one ad has to be for Tubi. Okay, so that was the other great ad was for Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul did an ad. You know what's weird is that he couldn't say the word bitch. Wasn't that crazy? I sat next to Aaron Paul at your wedding. Yeah, I know famous people. Relax, internet. I say, and he couldn't say it because it was on TV. So the whole time he's like, Mr. White, but he wasn't allowed to say bitch. Like nothing. And the whole time I'm waiting, and he's like, Jesse, we gotta. By the way, how was Harrison Ford not up for that part of Walter White? Get out of my meth lab. By the way, every commercial was somebody like A-list famous anymore. Joe, I do not want to see a Joe Biden Super Bowl commercial. Come on, folks, here's the deal. For a memory loss pill, but he doesn't remember making it. He doesn't remember making the commercial. He's like, folks, come on, here's the deal. I'm serious, man. Just realize it pulls back. He's just talking to a wall. And then Trump pops in, like the Tubi spot. I built that wall that he's talking to. I built that wall.
Joe Biden saw the halftime show, saw all those people in white costumes on stage, like, we need to shoot them down. Literally thought it was the balloons from China. There's more of them during the Super Bowl.
Bro, that's how they're getting in. No, but they looked like plastic bags. It looked like an ad for recycling. The Super Bowl brought to you by recycling.
It looked like that scene from American Beauty.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of them. Yeah. It looked like Pixar's bags. They're doing a lot. We're talking a lot about Pixar today. Later on, I'm going to bring up the new Toy Story. What were the other big ads? Oh, the Bradley Cooper one with his mom. You know that every celebrity, their mom called them today and was like, Bradley Cooper got his mom in the Super Bowl. How could you not get me in the Super Bowl?
How about the Dunkin' Donut one with J-Lo and Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about that one.
Ben Affleck's killing it.
Ben Affleck is killing it. Steve Martin, Ben Stiller for Pepsi Zero.
Did he? I mean, these are A-listers now. They're these are taking our jobs. These A-listers are taking our jobs. The craziest thing was you don't know what the placement is in it. So there was like an amazing commercial. And then if you go right after the one that everyone's talking about, everyone is talking about the one that came right before you. It's like, oh my God, incredible commercial. They missed yours completely. What is it, $1 million every 15 seconds?
It was $7 million this year. $7 million for a spot.
1 minute,
for a 1 minute
$7 million. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then that Jesus ad fucking slapped.
Man, I need to see this ad.
Only Human After All, when they were playing it, dude, everyone, we're eating buffalo wings. We're on to another commercial. We look like we're in the commercial for Jesus. Everyone at the party I was at was like, only human after all. We're like all just dancing, but not just with our chicken wings. We're just dancing with the chicken wing, bro. We're just like, only human. Well, not this chicken wing. Only chicken wing after all. I don't know why I'm doing like Michael McDonald. He does not sing that song. Only chicken wing after all. Michael McDonald. How did he never do an ad for McDonald's? That is insane.
Michael McDonald?
Yes.
Hold the pickle.
He goes, ba 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 ba. I'm loving it. How did he not do that? Oh, 1 billion served, only 1 billion served. How did he not do that?
Yeah, can you do the Big Mac commercial, please?
Ba 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 ba. You're loving it.
That's a great.
Oh, we're happy for the McRib. Back for a limited time.
They really blew it.
Bro, they are blowing it, bro.
They really blew
Michael
it.
McDonald, let us rep you. I don't know why I became a bad Jerry Maguire. Michael McDonald. Let me rep you. Yeah, dude. Only you. But that Jesus ad, it slapped so hard. Those photos were unbelievable.
It's so funny. That's not on any of the lists for like the commercials.
It's on my list. It's the only thing on my list.
Who paid for that?
Donations, yeah. The church.
Yeah. That's one thing I heard everybody saying. They're like, we've got to start taxing the church. If they
I was just going to say, they're the ones that can afford it.
Commercials?
I can't believe Scientology didn't have an ad.
Oh, that would have been great.
Other than that, what else is going on? The balloons. You guys have probably always heard that we've shot down all these balloons. Ryan and I were talking about this yesterday. What an interesting, I think they were drug balloons. And that is the way to get them across straight lines.
I agree. Yeah, I think those are definitely drug balloons. Who's spying using a balloon? It's like the least efficient method.
It's like a cartoon character in the 60s. It's like the worst possible thing to do. They say it's China. They say it's China. They say China is spying with balloons. Okay, Chinese balloons. I don't know if you're allowed to say that. Asian balloons. We don't know that they're from China exactly. The podcast has just been canceled. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty crazy. I love how they're just calling them objects. And they're not saying balloons. They're not saying, I mean, right away the internet's going to UFOs. I think probably a little bit of both. I don't think it's impossible. I definitely believe in aliens. It's like when people don't believe in aliens, I question a lot about them. Just as like a person, that's just where I'm coming from. Because then that means that they don't believe in magic. They don't believe in ghosts. I don't know. I'm a believer of all those things. And I definitely think that the balloons were spy balloons.
I feel like they were just some sort of promotion for the next M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I felt like it was a Goodyear blimp for the Super Bowl that just got way out of control. It just was off course. And by the way, what they're telling us, it's so funny because like they're not releasing any information, and then people just assume like we're waiting by the phone for the government to call us as if they're just going to let us know what those balloons were. They're going to lie to us. They don't need to tell us anything, but everyone's on like Balloon Gate. You've heard it here first. By the way, I just think that Party City needs to get involved somehow. If Party City's not involved, what are you doing, Party City? You're going to turn into Spirit Halloween. I'm not talking to anybody right now except Blockbuster, R.I.P. I'm talking to Spirit Halloween, R.I.P. Party City, you're gonzo, buddy. You got to get on this balloon stuff. What else did the balloons look like?
I don't know. I've only seen the one. There was 4 of them now, right?
Yeah, they said that they were in the Trump administration. You never heard about. That's how you knew that Trump was such a crazy balloon himself. He was just like a Macy's. By the way, how stupid if they were Chinese spy balloons? How do you not put them in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade?
There's definitely going to be one this year.
There has to be. Yeah. I'm going as a Chinese spy balloon. You won't know it though.
Is that the holiday
it's going to be my Halloween. That's how Spirit Halloween is coming back. They're partying up. You heard it here first. They're joining up with Party City, and we're all going to be Chinese balloons.
Everybody looks like Violet from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
After she ate the gobstopper.
But this one is white.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Here's the other crazy thing is they won't say that, but that's how crazy Trump was. That like. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. We can all agree that Trump was a Macy's Thanksgiving Day balloon, that it looked like he was going to come crashing down on us as a people. He was into so many shenanigans. He's like Alf. Trump and Alf, I think, were related. That he was just the crazy guy who loved to eat pussy, cats, and he was always arguing with the other establishment. And the crazy thing about it was, if the spy balloons existed like they said during his presidency, but we never heard about them because it was like old cartoon character Donald Trump. And by the way, I think that Donald Trump is so thirsty. I think Gatorade, I'm talking to you right now. You're leaving money on the table. Make the orange Gatorade Donald Trump flavor. Or just call it Trump Gatorade because he real thirsty. Ooh, Donald, yum, yum, yum. I just imagine though he's got to be the best at fingering because his whole hand can get inside. It's like a claw game.
He looks like he eats pussy with Grey Poupon. Just fucking to throw some on.
Excuse me. Yeah, it just opens up and there's a pussy. He's like, "Do you have any Grey Poupon?" Let's get to my favorite story of 2023, George Santos. If you guys haven't seen George Santos, he looks like someone who's transitioning from Mr. Potato Head into a person. He looks like a Fred Armisen character, and that is no disrespect. I love Fred Armisen. Love. But he is one of the most ridiculous. Look at that shot of him in the American flag. Was that taken at a mall? Was that a glamour shot? George Santos glamour shot? So probably a lot of you know who he is, but for those of you who don't, he's a liar. He's somebody, he's an American politician who now it's being revealed that not everything, but most everything that he's ever said has just been a fucking lie. Okay? He lied about where he went to high school, where he went to college, that he was a star of his college volleyball team. I love how he picked such an obscure thing that nobody would Google this. Now you're asking yourself like, oh, this probably happened in the 70s when they didn't have Google. It happened today. When Google has been working, the internet is not down. Everything is working. Chinese spy balloons, the internet, it's all going. So he said that he worked on Wall Street. Didn't do that. He said that he was married and he was gay, except a partner never appeared with him on the campaign trail. So he was gay for your vote. He did have a wedding. He had no wedding ring on. I mean, this guy is like, this guy is like a character. He claimed his mom died in 9/11. He said that he was Jewish. And they're like, oh, you're Jewish? He goes, no, Jewish. And he one time in a Facebook post in 2011 said Heil Hitler. So he's Jewish the way Kanye is Jewish. He's from Brazil. He said he was not a drag queen. And then they found so many photos. There are as many photos of him on the internet as a drag queen as there are as Carmen Miranda on Chiquita Bananas. He's a drag queen, which is great. God bless all the drag queens. I love them. And then a Wikipedia claim. This is my favorite lie. On his Wikipedia, someone claims that he was on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody and Hannah Montana.
What?
Bro, look it up. You can't trust this guy. He looks like a police sketch artist for the guy that did it. If he was in an episode of Law and Order, everybody would be like, that guy did it. I don't know what the crime was. Oh, the crime was he lied about being the star of his college volleyball team? He did it. The craziest things. I heard a rumor that he said that Cocaine Bear was based on his life. I don't know if it's true. I'm not going to Google it. I'm hoping it is.
I think that was just his nickname when he was in Brazil.
I haven't seen. Does he have a lot of hair on his chest?
Yeah, I'd assume.
He looks more like Cocaine Twink.
Yeah.
So here's
Cocaine Seal.
I would say that and Ryan and I talked about this. Cocaine Bear, based on a real thing. How has there not been Narc Shark? There's so much cocaine lost at sea. We lost a lot of good coke this year. How does a shark not mistake one of those for a seal? But I think we should. What was the movie we pitched? Narc Shark.
Yeah, it was Narc Shark.
And he was a cop, right? But you'd be able to tell he was wearing a wire.
The shark was a narc. Wait, the shark was an actual narc.
He was Narc Shark. He has aviator sunglasses on, and that they're wide because his eyes are over here. And we all agree that Mark Zuckerberg is part shark or part mantis. Those eyes are going this way.
Yeah.
But also he has a mustache, Narc Shark. He has a 70s no-nonsense mustache, and he has to wear a yellow button-down shirt to hide the wire he's wearing. He has suspenders, and he's the problem with Narc Shark is he's doing all the cocaine that he's busting.
Yeah, this is all coming together,
bro.
I want to see when he goes home back to wherever the hell a shark goes, and then just has to have drinks because he can't deal with the pressure. I can't.
Dude, he's constantly drinking. He's underwater.
That's a good point.
He's also an alcoholic. The plot thickens. So he's cocaine, because the bear essentially, by the way, I want to know who found the cocaine bear in real life. You guys know the story about a bear, a tale as old as time, bear finds cocaine, has the best night of his life, and then we make a movie off him, and he makes none of that money. That's so Hollywood. That bear receives none of that money.
I bet you if it was a polar bear, would have got a part of it.
I don't want to say it. I'll go even further. I bet a polar bear produced it. And that is actually, guess who's playing the cocaine shark? Polar bear in blackface. Oh, God. I didn't want to say it, but I did.
It's a lot of drama.
What else is going on? The Syrian earthquake. Not because we just didn't know if it, obviously it's not always funny. That is, it's kind of crazy. We're going to put a link for a charity for relief fund. We just wanted to bring it up to kind of bring attention to it. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. It's getting press over here, not as much as it should, to be totally honest with you. But do they have a death toll right now?
It's Turkey and Syria, though.
Sorry,
so, yeah.
I apologize.
34,000 dead.
34,000.
That's
man.
crazy.
That is crazy. And it is awful, and it's just, it's not getting, it's weird. It's like you see the news cycles, like even what we choose to focus on, Cocaine Bear. But yeah, we're going to put up a link and in the YouTube, and yeah, please donate. They could really use your help. I've been to Turkey. Have you ever been to Turkey? Right?
I've never been there. No. We had talked about going.
We did. Have you been to Turkey? It's the best. My brother did his honeymoon there. It is Istanbul, one of my favorite countries in the world. Cities in the world. They have just the great food, great people. The hospitality was unbelievable. A beautiful city. Any way you can give very obviously a worthy cause. New Toy Story coming out. There's no transitions here, by the way. We talked about calling the podcast Zero Transitions, but I think that was too smooth to call it Zero Transitions. So we just called it Kite Club, and obviously we'll be selling soap.
Like that's also the policy in most of the South. Zero transitions allowed. Just
Zero transitions, yeah. I think that's most of America. I think we can label the South, but come on, it's most of America. Okay. New Toy Story. What's going on with this new Toy Story? They announced there's going to be Toy Story. What is this, the fifth one? Toy Story 5. Woody and Buzz would have to be Andy's sex toys. At this age, what? I mean, by the way, I love Toy Story. I want to be in it. This is probably not going to help my case, but I would love to play anal beads. I could do any voice you want. Ryan, give me a voice. Who's the anal beads?
Oh, man, I think it's Liam Neeson.
Listen, I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to come out very slowly. I don't know who you are because I can't see you because I'm deep in the crevice. But you will find me, and you will use me, and I will bring you pleasure. That is, he's, God. Just Toy Story, Disney, hit me up after this. I think I'm great with kids.
What toys last for this long anymore? This is crazy.
A rabbit.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Well, he's got to be a dildo. Wow. Wow. Pull my string, and I'll make you come. I'm just pitching here, guys. Pixar is a sponsor. Or they were. They're not anymore. Okay, we just lost Pixar. Is there any other new stuff that we wanted to talk about before we get to what's going on in stand-up?
It's really a slow kind of news cycle. We have some on this day stuff.
Well, we'll go to that in a second. All right, let's just get to stand-up. So I did. Ryan and I both been in the clubs a lot lately. I'm trying to work on a bunch of new stuff, and I did a tennis club. Now, people, we often get asked. I mean, like, what's a weird job that you did or whatever. So I did a tennis club here in LA on last Thursday, and it was ridiculous because, there's a ton of people that got to go for free, right? Because they're a member of that club. So they set you up sort of in like a multi-purpose room where it looks like someone is going to do a very watered down TED Talk. And there was like a blanket like hung up behind the way that like a kid would do a play for their parents in their basement. And it was just all of these incredibly drunk people. Oh yeah, and they got drink tickets, so they were fucking lit. And it was, but it was fun. But it was also like, I think that it's an odd place that we're in with stand up, where like everything, like a Starbucks could now be a stand up club. Like you did a stand up. Where were you at a Mexican restaurant?
I was at a Mexican restaurant, kind of similar to your story, but not at all.
Doing stand up,
and taking orders. There was 5 people there, so it was. Yeah.
I feel more bad for that restaurant.
Have you ever heard of a place called Newark, California? I never heard of that in my entire life. It's like right out of San Jose by like 20 minutes. Yeah, I went there for a...
Is that how you opened?
I've never heard of your town.
Guys, have you ever heard of you?
I don't think...
Because I haven't.
I don't think anyone had. That's why nobody was there. Like, it's in Newark, New Jersey, you mean, right?
And there was only 4 people in the restaurant?
There was 4 people. There was 2 tables of 2. There was 2 people at the bar. There was 6 people total. I lied. And there were 7 comedians on the show. So
you just really Rain Man that for us.
Yeah, thank you. I'm great with numbers. Definitely good with numbers. But it is what it is, man. You go there and you try to do jokes to people drinking margaritas and trying to eat fajitas, and sometimes it doesn't go well.
I did a show in that doesn't exist anymore in Marco Island, Florida. Captain O'Brien's it was called Off the Hook.
Right? That's still there, I think.
They moved it. It used to be on Marco Island, where it's like that vacation home. Like Blake Lively had a house there. Eminem had a house there. Neither was at my show. And it was like the most expensive Red Lobster you've ever been in. And people are having dinner and listening to stand up. There was a narc shark, coming through the back wall. It looked like I was performing in the middle of a Sharknado. And it was, remember like in Back to the Future Part 2 when the Jaws comes out and he goes, shark still looks fake? The shark is coming out of the wall at the audience. So you're competing with an aggressive, forward-moving shark coming out of the wall that is a stationary part of the background. And at full volume, broad daylight, people are drinking white wine and crab salad. And they're at full volume ordering, at full volume, and it's very expensive. And you are dinner theater. I feel like you're just like literally the name I should record a special or just call it White Noise. I was just on in the background, brought to you by Sharper Image. And it was like one of the most ridiculous things. I mean, the shows were super fun. I remember like this dude, and I won't call him out, but he came and did a guest set, and he was like, yo, can I come do a guest set on the show? And I was like, yeah, sure. To complete silence for 5 minutes. It's like that they were taking a moment of silence, that somebody had died that he was unaware of. And they were like, for this man's set, let's just take a moment of silence to honor someone who'd a fallen brother.
Yeah, I'll tell you how much this place cared about the comedy show that was going on. The establishment didn't even turn the TV volume down. They just left the award show for the NFL playing in the background with the sound up. So I was competing with
who set this show up?
I don't know. I should probably get an agent, huh?
I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like it was somebody that was trying to tank the restaurant.
There
was a competitor who was trying to buy the building.
There was 4 people there. I don't think it needed help tanking it. There was 4 people there on a Friday night. So,
oof.
Yeah, I think.
What's the name of that restaurant?
I don't want to do that to them.
No.
I'll be honest. The food wasn't bad.
I was going to say we're going to plug the restaurant to have more people go.
I got the fajitas. No, it was fantastic. Service was great. But yeah, I mean, at some point during my set, I literally heard someone get to the bottom of their margarita. It was just the slurping they kept doing. I'm like, can we get the refill over here?
You should have done it.
I was trying to. It's the only way I was going to make money that night. I was like looking for 10%.
Woman comes up to the stage. She's like, I'll take another Jack and Coke. Yeah. Let's do mailbag. Let's get to mailbag. We had people send in. I said, send us your questions. Thank you for doing that. The first question I got is, so people always want to know. Yes, I was on the show Two Broke Girls. A great show. It was on CBS for 6 seasons. We did a Super Bowl ad that I reposted. If you go to my Instagram, with David LaChapelle. If you guys don't know who he is, I think of him as like the modern Andy Warhol. He's a genius visual artist, and he actually did the aesthetic for the Super Bowl ad that we did, and it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. It was the amount of like makeup. Like there's a scene when I'm coming through the window, just putting my face up, and his lighting technique was unbelievable. They painted my face almost like blood red, but when you see all the contrast with the lights, it looks normal because of the way he did it. I mean, he just has such an incredible eye for that type of stuff. Anyway, check it out on my Instagram page. But I got the show. So originally I went out for this show called Kickin' It that was on Disney. And the casting director, shout out Julie Ashton, was like, hey, we're doing a show. I'm casting a show right now with Michael Patrick King, Sex and the City, legend, was that him and Darren Star, main guys behind that. They're doing a show for network television that's a sitcom. He's never done a network show before. And it's going to be about a diner, and it lives in Williamsburg, and it's going to be these 2 girls. One of them used to be rich, and became poor. One was always poor. She's like, there's a part, can you do a Russian accent? I did the accent. She's like, can you come in and audition? You won't get the part. They're looking for like a 50-year-old Russian guy, but I want you to meet Michael and Whitney Cummings, who are the executive producers on the show, and maybe you'll, could get an episode or something, or a guest star or something down the line. So I went out to Goodwill, and I was like, I got to be competitive somehow. I'm never going to book this part, but I want to look like what I thought this guy was. And I had heard a story about a comedian where he was sort of lived 3 8-hour shifts, that he never sort of went to sleep. And, whatever he was doing, he had a new group of friends for each of those 8 hours. And so I was like, well, this guy's Oleg is from Europe. He's probably a party guy. So for 8 hours, he works at the diner. For 8 hours, he maybe goes clubbing. And for 8 hours, I imagined always that he had like another job. And then that came up, interestingly enough, on the show multiple times, where he was like selling cigarettes to children and things like that, the fun stuff. And what had happened was I went to the Goodwill and I bought these like really sad sort of like club pants that were like, that were brown and black, that were faded, right? They looked like they would have been a nickel at a garage sale. And they had like real sad glitter, like sort of like the last breath of a fairy on the thigh. And I hemmed them up, and I wore these white socks and these really gross leather flip-flops that I had gotten from Gap, 100 years ago. And I took an undershirt, and I put mustard stains on it, and I wore a hairnet. And I got there, and I had did the part for everybody, was like, I'll never get it, wound up getting called back. And when I was going to go meet the head, Whitney was like the head of Warner Brothers, Peter Roth. She's like, don't speak in an American accent. Just always have them believe that you are Russian, okay? So I do it. I can't believe it. I wind up booking the part. I come in there like they like me. I think the quote was because I was like 30 at the time, and they said like there was nothing like like sexual assaulty about me, which is probably like one of the nice compliments I've ever received. And that it was like he was going to be aggressive to these girls and like say like sort of lewd things, but it was all in fun, and that there was nothing like dangerous about me or uncomfortable for audiences. So when I got there to the first table read, I remember when I officially met Peter Roth, I like hugged him and I sort of said to him like, "Hey, what's up?" And he looked at me because he had no idea that I didn't speak in a Russian accent. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm from Chicago. My name is Jonathan Kite. I'm an American." So that's how I got that show. So thank you to Michael and big thank you to Whitney Cummings. I really owe them that. And then how did I get into stand-up? How did you get into stand-up, by the way?
I wanted to do it much younger when I was about 20 and then just didn't have the balls. My dad had always told me about how he used to write for some friends of his that were comedians. And I just always enjoyed stand-up growing up. And I finally got the balls when I was like 35 to try it. And then just went and did an open mic and blacked out on stage, I felt like, and got off. And I was like, had like a weird rush. And I was like, I should probably try that again. And then just kind of been doing it, forcing myself to do it. So that's, it's just something I'd always wanted to do.
I got into stand-up because I had been doing a sketch show with Jamie Foxx in like 2009, 2010. And I got a chance, which was really cool because I was writing a bunch for the show and I'd never been in that position. And when I got seasons 1 and 2 of Two Broke Girls, we'd already been picked up. I wasn't able to take another job. And so the weird part about it was you have all this off time but you want to keep working. So you have the summers off in between because it runs on the school schedule, right? You go fall to spring. So summers are free, but you know, you're sort of left with nothing to do, but everybody sort of knows your name because the show's a hit. And I was sitting at the Improv one night, and two friends of mine, Taylor Williamson and Ian Edwards, two amazing comics, literally just talked me into it one night. They're like, you should try to do stand-up. You should just try to get on stage, whether you start with your impressions or whatever. And the first joke I ever wrote was, here's my impression of Ray Romano having a nightmare. No, Mom. And, it killed. And it did pretty well. And then what's the worst stand-up gig you've ever had? What's the worst time you've ever bombed on stage? So besides the Mexican restaurant you just went to, what was the other bomb?
I mean, these open mics, man, that's what we have to do out here. Obviously, you didn't have to do that. Thank God for you. We have to go to these open mics where essentially 10 comedians or so will all pay $5 to just talk to other comedians and try their jokes. And I mean, this is just you bombing every time. Like literally people just looking at you, looking at their notes, looking at what they're going to say next. So you get real comfortable in just talking to air is essentially what it is. If I were to give that a go. As far as a show, luckily I haven't really bombed on a show that I've actually done because I think these mics set you up pretty well. It's like, you know, like when you swing a baseball bat with a donut on it, like you get those reps in. As soon as you are in front of real people, you take that off, then it tends to work out better, I guess. So I'm waiting for my big bomb in front of an audience, if that's your question.
We're going to get so many people writing in being like, I saw Ryan one night and he bombed pretty hard.
My wife.
I'm getting a text right now, and this isn't even live.
Yeah,
Is Ryan spreading that bullshit? Yes, he is.
I probably bombed the hardest in front of my wife. Just like trying out jokes.
Just in life.
Yeah.
I've been to your house for dinner. I did a corporate gig where they when I got there, it was the craziest thing. I fly up to Monterey, and I got to this gig, and the woman who picks me up from the airport, she's like, we need to go over all your political jokes. And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. I don't do political jokes. And she halted the car so hard as if she was trying to avoid hitting a child. And she looked at me, all the blood drained from her face, and she goes, what do you mean you're not a political comedian? And I went, oh, did you pick up, I don't know how, I don't even remember how I got into her car. Maybe I got in the wrong Uber or something, you know? And she's like, well, you're Jonathan Kite, right? I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, we hired you to be a political comedian. I said, why would you do that? I said, where did you see that I said, did my agent tell you that I was a political comedian? She's like, no, but I saw a video of you on YouTube. I said, did you now? What was the video? She goes, well, you were doing a Trump impression. This was a long time ago, before he was president. And I said, oh, I think I know the video you're talking about. I said, you mean where I did Trump for exactly 7 seconds? And did you watch anything before or after Trump? She's like, no. I was like, so you booked me off of 7 seconds in the middle of a video that someone showed you, and you assumed we're going to stop our research. This guy, he's got to be a political comedian. She goes, well, I didn't see the rest of the video. I go, it's literally not. I just did this one stupid thing as Trump, and it wasn't even a political joke. It was him owning an IHOP, talking about Rudy Tooty, fresh and fruity. There was no policy. There was no build that wall. There was no China. There was nothing. So I go, so by your logic, I might as well be a comedian that only focuses on IHOP related material, that I'm only going to do pancake jokes. So she's like, this is, well, do you have any political jokes? I'm like, no, I don't do political jokes. She goes, well, what are some of your jokes? And we pull over and I go, this is crazy. I start telling her those jokes. She goes, well, you can't do those jokes. I go, well, what do you mean? She goes, there's going to be children here. I was like, is this a charity event? She goes, no, it's a corporate event, but they're allowed to bring their families. So there will be kids at the event. I go, like, how many children? And she goes, well, we don't know, but they're going to be there. So you're not allowed to swear. You're not allowed to talk about anything that they wouldn't be allowed to hear. I said, none of that is in the contract. I called my agent later. None of that was explained to us at all. And it wasn't like this was like a corporate event for Toys R Us or for Fisher Price. It was for Blood Diamonds. No. It was the I'm going to get this completely wrong. The board of attorneys for California. So I was like, the kid-friendly attorneys. It was, and by the way, it wasn't a Disney show called Kid Lawyers. These are, these people deal with like adult subjects every day. So you'd think it was okay. And then they couldn't find sitters. I don't know what happened there. So she goes, you got to go over your set with me right now in the car. So I start I'm like, I got to go to the hotel. This set, I'm performing in 2 hours. She goes, well, this is a problem and they hadn't paid us yet. And so I was like, we need to get the money up front. So I do the jokes for her. She's like, okay, you can do that one. You can't do that one. I'm literally having this woman swipe right or left on jokes in my set. So then I go back to the hotel room. I call the agent to just let him know what's going on. His answer, to his credit, was fuck him, do whatever you want. I go, but they haven't paid us yet. And they're lawyers. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get in this battle with them. So then I'm telling you this, I'm jump out of the shower. The room phone rings. I was like, no one knows I'm here except the corporation, the lawyers or whatever. The woman goes, I need you to come downstairs and do your routine for my boss. I said, when? I go, I'm on in 30 minutes. She goes, you can't go on until he approves everything. I go, I just did the material for you in the car. She goes, I know, but I think that I told you I think you can't do those jokes. I go, what are you talking about? I go, I only have the jokes that I have. I said, I can pull up a YouTube video and do a Rodney Dangerfield routine. It's plagiarism, but I could do it. I go downstairs into one of the ballrooms there. And it's like this weird meeting where everyone's around the table. Like I'm coming in to pitch them a new gum campaign or some shit. And I sit there. And the guys, they're very friendly, but the woman is in the corner, and I swear to God, if there was coal in her asshole, it would have been a diamond by the time that meeting was over. She was so fucking uptight. She looked like she had the shakes. And she's sitting in the corner just nervous as hell, like her job was on the line because she had vouched for me or whatever. She was completely inaccurate about the way that she chose me. And I said to the guy, I go, just so you know, there's no videos of me doing political humor. Like any of I don't know. I said, I don't know what the confusion was, but I want to clear up our end of it. My agent and I talked. We never said that that we would have a clean show. That wasn't in the contract, that it would be political. So he goes, I need to hear your jokes. So I do the joke and then I end with a fuck. And he goes, you can't say that. I go, well, it won't hit as hard. And then, so I run through them and I realize there's enough bullshit, lukewarm material that they'll allow me to say that I'm like, this show's going to suck for your employees. I said, but if I get paid, I don't care. It was a lot of money. Then as I'm leaving, the woman grabs me and she goes, oh, and if the audience heckles you, you're not allowed to respond to them. I go, what kind of problems have you had before? So, of course, I get on stage. They're drunk as hell. And they start heckling me. And it is so weird because I'm looking at the woman who's just off to the side going, no, don't talk back. And I have to call them out. I go, I'm not allowed to talk back to you. She said I couldn't do it. And she is sitting there and I'm just taking it. Imagine. And so I'm just trying to get through my material as the whole room is talking to me. And I'm not responding. So it looks like I'm deaf. It looks like I can't hear them. It was the craziest thing. And they're like, so I get off stage. She's like, that was amazing. She's holding the check. I literally just grabbed the check and walked past her. And she's like, oh, can you sit around and take pictures? And I was like, all right, I'll see you later. And I just walked to the room. That was the craziest. And it just was like, and they don't take any of the onus. That's the craziest thing. Because she didn't acknowledge. She goes, well, you, to be fair, you did do Donald Trump, so you could have been political. Like, there was no acknowledgement that they fucked up on any part of it.
Also, why'd they want a political comedian?
Dude, I have no idea. They never mentioned that.
They're like, you know how kids like political humor too, right? That's
but also, I don't know that they thought like that'll be clean. I don't know. Well, we're going to keep searching this stuff. Thanks for tuning into the first episode. Listen, wherever you get your podcast, we're going to have the video up on YouTube every Thursday. Thank you so much for supporting this. This has been a long time coming. We're just excited. We're going to keep going, and we're just going to build, and then we're going to start touring. So I'm Jonathan Kite, and you'd be too if you were me. Take care.